When you need to know.
This story is developing in Atlanta.
When you want to know.
Severe weather is on its way.
When you have to know.
We'll alert you as soon as this closure clears.
Get notifications
from your source for news.
Get the WSB Radio app.
Download it from your app store today.
It's 1:06, time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Let's check in with Mike Shields in the 24-hour traffic center.
And so watching a crash on the east side perimeter. DOT tells me it's in two left lanes, 285 southbound the Interloop, North Lake Parkway, exit 36. Bumper to bumper, though, 2 miles back as you leave Spaghetti Junction, trying to work your way down the east side perimeter. Before you get to all of that, if you're leaving Dunwoody into Dorville, we had a crash working in 3 center lanes, 285 eastbound the Interloop at Buford Highway, exit 32. That's been pushed to the right shoulder and all lanes back open. And 2 right lanes remain blocked in both directions on the west side perimeter, 285 north and southbound between Bolton Road and Atlanta Road, a 3-mile stretch, and delays now on both directions between I-20 and I-75 Truist Park. From the TrustDale.com Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Cloudy skies today with rain showers tapering off later on this afternoon. High 78, lows tonight in the upper 50s. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy, high 79. Scattered rain showers return on Monday.
65 in Sandy Springs, 66 in Norcross, and it's 66 here in Midtown. More news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Mary Ryan Howarth, 95.5 WSB.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 1:07 on a Saturday afternoon on this beautiful Mother's Day weekend. And you know what that means. It means that it's time for Inside Georgia Real Estate with my dear sister, Deborah Morton. She is the founder, the owner of the agency Atlanta. And she is a brilliant realtor. And she knows everything about Georgia real estate. But before we go any further, my sister,
I am so excited.
I want to tell you something, though. On behalf of everyone on the Shelley Winter Show and listening to us right now, we all want to tell you Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you.
We love you very much.
Thank you so
much. All right, we have a guest. Introduce your guest.
Not to skip over Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. I have with us here in the studio today Jeff Ledford, who is the External Affairs Officer for the Georgia Association of Realtors. Now, Jeff, I'm excited, but the public doesn't know who you are or what you do. What is the External Affairs Officer, and how do you help homeowners here in Georgia?
Sure. So we are very involved in looking out for private property rights and getting more people the ability to have home ownership.
Right.
So we engage with the state legislature, we engage in local governments, and we engage with government entities.
So to cut to the chase, you're a lobbyist.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay, good.
Right.
We'll just sum it up for everybody.
That's fine.
So the Georgia Association of Realtors, to give everybody a quick summary, is different than the state licensing. We have the Georgia Real Estate Commission regulates our licenses. The Georgia Association Realtors is a voluntary association, which in my mind, it helps us all stick to and adhere to a higher level of ethics. Super important to differentiate between the two, because if you've been listening for a while, you know how much I argue in favor of making sure that you are well represented by a quality and professional and skilled realtor.
Exactly. Licensure is basically just the base threshold. I always say it's what the state's job is to make certain you are not incompetent to ruin someone's life. You have met a minimal threshold.
Yeah, that's not enough.
16-year-old.
It's not enough.
Yeah,
no.
You're a 16-year-old driver. That's about it.
Right.
The realtors is you are aspiring to professionalism and adhering to a code of ethics.
Right.
So you are trying to be better.
And I'll point out, this hour goes fast. A primary benefit to being a member of the Association of Realtors is we have access to all the forms. And that might sound like not important to somebody who doesn't understand, but your realtor is going to be negotiating contracts that you are held to, legally required to adhere to. the forms and contracts we use are provided and updated for us. Every 6 months, we get a contract update, and I go to a class and learn about the updates. The contracts matter. And Georgia's forms, I've seen other states' forms, they are phenomenal. So we're able to use a standardized form in all of our contract writing. That's like on a daily basis, something that matters. So if you're thinking of buying or selling, you should be familiar with the contract we're going to be using. And I always do that for our clients.
And they change every 6 months. Like, what's the change in a contract? It could be a comma or a word. I mean, what's the...
significant stuff. So as the laws change, as there are court cases, as there are challenges to something that has happened, whenever, that triggers changes in the forms. A good example, a couple years ago, we had something where every broker was obligated to disclose about the existence of a certain law.
Gotcha.
And so we worked that into the forms so that that became part of it before the law kicked into
The thing
effect.
that most people care about is compensation. And like I
when you say most people, realtors, I know.
No, the public.
But the public too?
public.
Okay.
Yeah, and the contracts outline clearly for transparency. So when the National Association of Realtors got sued in that class action lawsuit a couple years ago,
right,
a big part of it, I was like, my God, what happened in Connecticut to put us in this situation? Because in Georgia, we did not have the issues that we're having in other parts of the country because our forms were already clear and transparent. Everything was already articulated.
Gotcha.
So people are like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling, but not in Georgia. I like how our forms are here. But that's not the only thing Jeff does. He goes to the legislature. Y'all, I mean, we just finished a session, and I think it's important. Like, the thing that passed everybody was happy about was House Bill 406.
406, that's correct.
And that, I'm going to let you.
Sure, yeah. 406 is, it's the Homeowners Bill of Rights for homeowners associations. Homeowners associations go back to about 1975 for condo associations and about 94, I think, for the property owners associations. And then there's a third class, which are just the HOAs that are established by covenants running with the land.
But co-ops, which go back a long time, have always had co-op boards.
Yes, very similar. So this would encapsulate all of those. So all of those, and actually the co-ops go back to the older style, the HOAs of covenants running with the land.
Right.
All that is a much older, I think it goes back to about the 1840s.
Gotcha.
But this now brings all of those under one registration with the Secretary of State's office, $100 per association to register. But that gives you one place to go to so that you can, if you have a grievance, if you have something, it's your first course so that it doesn't have to become litigated.
Right.
It doesn't have to become an expensive process.
And let me give you some practical applications for that. How that benefits us is, I'm going to speak to condo buildings right now. I talk about the condo market being slow in Atlanta because a lot of the buildings are not warrantable. And what does that mean? That means that there's some sort of litigation or a problem with the homeowners association, the community, and we can't get lenders to lend. We can't get mortgages on these properties because of pending litigation.
Right, the pending litigation. The other thing is, again, it assigns a referee at the Secretary of State's office to handle some of the minor disputes so that they don't have to rise to a bigger issue. The biggest thing that this gives is, since the time where these were created back, 50 years ago plus, you've had more openness in government. Now, the government also, in the two sections that created the condo associations and the POAs, it gives enhanced abilities to these entities that are almost a quasi-governmental function. What they never got was the transparency that we have under the Sunshine Laws. So under our open records and open meetings laws, you don't 100% hit that with the HOAs.
Our listeners know that like HOAs is the hottest topic when people go and we talk about it because of the power that HOA have over communities and homeowners, and there was no place to argue on your behalf. The HOA had all the power, and now there's a little checks and balances put into place.
This gives a modest approach in. The biggest thing that I think this brings is the transparency.
Yeah.
The transparency to that. It also it brought in another bill that toward the end got packed into this, and essentially all it does is it says before you're assessed attorney fees by your HOA, so they're starting a collections process, that they have to notify you in really
Yeah.
kind of
You
the,
know, it's
the
funny.
Well, what
basic
about
manner.
what about trying to not evict you, but foreclose on you,
Foreclose,
all
yeah.
of that? Oh,
I've actually never encountered a foreclosure because of that. I think that was rare. But what has happened a lot, somebody hires me to sell their home, and then we find out that there are thousands of dollars in penalties. The homeowner cannot sell the home. I can have a contract. I have a buyer. Everybody's ready to transfer the money and move along. But the closing attorney has to have a clearance letter from the HOA to finalize the transfer of deed. And without the clearance letter, we're dead.
Right.
We are absolutely stopped. And we have had closings not just delayed, but not happen because the homeowner was completely unaware that their HOA had a $3,000 backlog of penalties and fees.
Here's a question to the both of you. You,
Sure.
Mr. Ledford, and you also, Deborah. Is it necessary for grown people in a building or a small community to even have a homeowners association?
There is no requirement to have a homeowners association. The issue is if you choose, and this is always a private contract, if you choose to live in a community where you've agreed to a set of rules, that essentially is what a homeowners association is.
And you can't sign and buy a home. You're going to sign a disclosure form that you acknowledge it. You cannot then go back and say, oh, I'm not going to abide by those rules.
What if now? Do you have to? So let me ask you a question. I'm buying a home in a community. They have a homeowners association. Can I opt out before I purchase?
Not usually. I've never seen one like that. But there are homeowners associations with voluntary participation. Those are the older ones, and they will allow a voluntary, and that's usually just for minor maintenance, put some flowers at the front of the neighborhood kind of thing.
Right. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. Those are the numbers. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. Those are the numbers to call. In the studio with us, with Deborah Morton, is Jeff Ledford. He is the External Affairs Officer for the Georgia Realtors, Georgia Association of Realtors. He has all the questions about the politics.
Yes.
Around real estate and purchasing and buying and selling. So 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. We will be right back.
118 in the Trustdale.com traffic center. Watching a crash still in two left lanes on the east side perimeter. 285 southbound the inner loop, North Lake Parkway, exit 36. Delays as you leave I-85. Of course, a wide alternate is taking 85 south into the city, but that is crowded up. 85 south leaving Georgia 400 into Midtown. 75-85 southbound sluggish from 17th Street getting past Georgia Tech. Northbound delays start around University Avenue as you work your way northbound getting past I-20 and through the Grady Curve. I'm Mike Schultz, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's Morning News.
In order here, you'll hear Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen.
Make your morning commute